Communication Workers of America, Alliance for American Manufacturing, Bio Green Clean, and the iSave team bring you this production here on this Tuesday edition of Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Let's turn now to a great friend of mine, Bob Shrum. He's a Democratic strategist, professor at USC. Bob, good to have you with us.
Glad to be here, Ed.
You bet. I can't help but think that Donald Trump in some form is the perfect candidate for any Democrat to go up against. In the last week, we've had the database conversation that he's in favor of that. Now he's out saying that he saw thousands upon thousands of people cheering when the World Trade Center buildings fell down on September 11th. And yet he continues to poll ahead in double digits ahead of Carson, Rubio, and Bush. Bob, have you ever seen anything like this or ever seen a candidate like this?
No, and I think it reflects the fact that the Republican Party and the Republican primary process have been taken over to a greater extent than ever before by the far right, by people who are angry, by people for whom conservatism has become not a set of principles, but a set of grievances and insecurities. And Trump appeals to these folks. Every time he gets called out, on John McCain, attacking John McCain for being shot down, up to the recent stuff this week. He gets called out, the press says, that's it, he's done, and he just maintains his strength. So I think we're going to see him, unless he says something that alienates that base, we're going to see him around for a long time.
What do you make of Rubio and also Bush? What you just said here, you almost hear the frustration in their voices and frustration coming from their campaigns, almost in disbelief that Trump is still the leader of the pack. What do you think?
Well, I think there's tremendous frustration on Bush's part. He thought he was going to inherit the nomination, and it's clear that there is profound Bush fatigue in the Republican Party. He also turns out everybody said he was the smarter Bush, the better campaigner than his brother. Turns out that the opposite is the case. Yeah. Now, they still have a lot of money, although the ads they broadcast so far haven't done him much good. He's going to have to perform well. He's not going to do well in Iowa, I don't think. He's going to have to perform well in New Hampshire and then make some kind of real impression, comeback in South Carolina, or he could actually, despite all his money, be, whether he's out of the race or not, an absolute also-ran.
It seems like, Bob, the Republican strategy for fighting ISIS is to just demagogue the hell out of it, say you're going to bomb the shit out of them, and that, of course, is what Trump has been saying, and you're going to eliminate him, you're going to throw all the military at him. It's amazing how elementary the conversation is, yet terrorism seems to be trumping the campaign right now. Is this conversation going to continue? Is this going to overshadow a lot of other things that candidates would rather talk about?
Well, it depends on events. I mean, if there is another terrorist attack in Western Europe, or God forbid here, that's successful, it will become a bigger and bigger issue. This is, and I think I've said this to you before, another version of John Kennedy's long twilight struggle. This is not going to get solved in a day. It's not going to get solved in a month. And I think George W. Bush once said it. It's going to a fight that's going to go on for years. And one of the things that was interesting and encouraging in some of the polling data I've seen recently was people trust Hillary Clinton, for example, more than they trust any of the Republicans to deal with terrorism.
Yeah.
But you got to notice how cautious most of them are being. They're going to be tougher. They're going to do more. As you say, they're going to bomb and bomb and bomb, which we're already doing, by the way. Yeah. They're going to bomb and bomb and bomb, but they're very coy about either whether they would put troops on the ground or how many troops they would put on the ground. And they've just passed, the Republican House just passed a bill on Syrian refugees, which would deny entry to the United States or delay it for a very long and dangerous period of time for all those Iraqis who cooperated with us as translators and guides during the Iraq War. So wouldn't it be great? We send boots on the ground, but at the same time we send the message that if you do anything to cooperate with those boots on the ground, with those American troops, you're not going to be taken care of when the fight's over.